Disclaimer, this is not a hate video. And could be more described as a rant. I'm not making it to put shame on the developers. But I think they could be more considerate towards the players and redo a couple of things within the game to make it better. In this video, I'll be discussing major flaws within COS and how it could possibly be destroying the game and even the player experiences. Hello, and welcome back to another video. My name is Bluey and I hope you're having a fantastic day. If not, I hope it gets better. Today we're going to be talking about COS. A beloved creature game where all you do is survive and, well, that's the whole point, at least that's what it was supposed to be. Well, not anymore. COS has become an almost to pretty much pay-to-win type of game. Actually, scratch that. COS has become a pay-to-win game, or better yet, the grind your SSA off game. Many players, specifically in the fandom that I've seen, have complained about gachas being rigged, and creatures being overpriced. And perhaps many more absurd things. With the release of the new update, Rotation Store, things have taken a turn for the worse, and I mean worse. Even though my hopes of COS getting major improvements have suddenly plummeted, I was hoping the devs would start to take notice. And even though they're not really doing much, and their attempts aren't, well, to put it nicely, aren't making any progress. So I'm not surprised that the community is reacting pretty horribly towards this. And to be more exact, not only have the devs noticed problems within the game but later came out with an announcement that made players think they would fix it. Nah, they just flat out made it worse. Gachas have been a problem for so long, but instead of improving that and perhaps changing the way players gacha for creatures, they just flat out created another one. Oh wait, sorry, it's not a gacha, it's a store. So instead of gambling for creatures, you give up your liver, leg, and a couple of other organs for these supposedly legendary and rare creatures. Like 90% of them are from other gachas and were just added to Rotation Store, lol. Like that makes no sense. COS is mainly a survival-based game with a bit of action and even role-playing, if you choose to do that in-game. Your goal is to survive as whatever creature you choose to play as, to grow it up, and then, meanwhile, earn mush to spin more gachas in which you gain more creatures to add to your collection. But it doesn't feel like that anymore, and the game seems more of a job, just without the paycheck. And that's exactly what I mean, a payless job. We don't get paid to play, unless you're a CC who has a monetized channel and is getting thousands and thousands of views. And so the time that we do spend on games, should feel rewarding. What kind of game makes the player work their butt off and then tells them if they want something they have to spend a minute of $1,000? And let's be honest, because no one else has the balls to say this. The recent update of the Rotation Store completely just drove COS off the rails. And I mean completely. The game is now quickly moving away from the survival aspect. I got to say, the game had no survival aspect in the first place. I mean literally, everyone in the server stays in one spot. Confusion. Gachas have been in the game long before the final release, and have been the most common way of unlocking creatures. Gachas aren't always the best way of getting creatures though, and personally, I prefer the trade realm. This is due to the fact that gacha is simply a secret gambling machine, and while you have a chance of getting something valuable, it's highly unlikely. They allow you to earn creatures, however, it doesn't guarantee you automatically get a creature you hope for. The biggest kinda and most irritating gacha so far that I've heard about is session gacha. No matter how many prayers or mushrooms, or even slight luck you have, you'll end up wasting time getting any creatures besides that one specific one. Session gacha has a more horrible way, compared to any other gacha, of sucking people up into that desperate greedy attitude, and now the Rotation Store has just taken over. One good example of players being desperate is for the newest session gacha creature, the Turgeon. While Turgeon is a very good creature, it is not something worth giving away a Boreal, an Ardor Warden, or any other special events, or creature that has extreme value. And even still, with the hype being lower than before, people are still paying or trading obnoxiously high-priced creatures, or thousands of mushrooms. And while this can change at any moment, stuff like this is always happening. And it's ruining some players. The biggest problem with this is that as time goes on, creatures are not only getting more expensive, but they're becoming more difficult to obtain. And people who are creature collectors, are often having a much harder time. Getting that one missing creature into their collection is like looking for a needle in a haystack. You're bound to find it at some point, but it requires a lot of tedious work, mostly. Not only that, but the game rarely compensates the players for playing the game. I mean, isn't that the whole point? To earn mushrooms by playing the game? Even playing for multiple hours in one sitting would become tiring and almost pointless. In just a single hour, a player would earn 150 mushrooms, which isn't even enough for the majority of the creatures. Unless you want something like a Kendall or perhaps even a Lucidarch, if people are willing to, you might as well sit back in your chair or whatever piece of furniture you have, and continue playing your butt off until you have just at least 1,000. And as much as I hate to say it, there are way too many gachas to spin. It's like for every few creatures, a new gacha/store is being added. It's overwhelming and makes it harder to get a creature based on what type it is. Want a sea creature? Too bad, you get one gacha to spin from. While some others get 2 to 3, or even more. For this video's conclusion, stop creating hundreds of gachas. Stop overpricing creatures or duplicating creatures into other gachas and bumping up their price to an absurd amount. Compensate players with more mush or grant them other rewards for playing the game. Add back mutations so it's fair for players who don't have plus highs. Rework the session gacha and rotation store. And lastly, login bonus/streak should.